Hello everyone, Prof Sales coming at you with another shoe reseller update. And this series of videos is called Making of a Shoe Seller or Reseller, if you will. And it's documenting my journey to getting 500 listings up on eBay of just shoes. So I've determined to have a bigger shoe presence, if you will, better footprint. But if you will, in terms of shoes on eBay. And so this is my journey, and that's what this video series is about. So we're going to give the room a moment to fill in. This is a live show. And if you can hear me okay, let me know. Let me know that the sound is okay, that you can hear my voice all right. Usually is, but just to be sure. And I hope everybody's doing well. It's Thursday, June 22nd, 2017. And we are on this journey to get to 500 listings of shoes by the end of 2017. So we've got about half the year to go. I think yesterday was the first day of summer, so half the year is done. So we got half the year left. So that's a nice starting point, I suppose, or midpoint. All right, so as I mentioned at the beginning, the goal and the purpose of this series is to document this journey and also hopefully instruct you guys a little bit on all the areas in which I fall down in, all the areas which I succeed in, and there have been some and there will be more. I don't proclaim to be the best shoe reseller in the world, not by a long shot. So we are, just learning as we go, just like you guys are, so you get to come along for the journey. So hopefully it'll be informative, hopefully it'll be educational, and hopefully you will get something out of it. So we'll jump into results here in a moment and just show you kind of what we've been doing. And we'll be doing some screen shares during these videos, and we'll be jumping back to this. I'll also be taking any questions you have. I'll do my best to answer them. Again, I'm definitely not an expert, but I'm learning. So if you have questions, you can type the word question or type 2 or 3 question marks in the chat box and then type your question. Or if you're watching this later, leave a question in the comments and we will do our best to answer it. All right, so I'm going to show you kind of where we're at so far on month to date with this journey. So we'll go in and we'll do a quick screen share here of the handy dandy spreadsheet. So let's go to that. All right, so these are my shoe numbers. I have 117 listed right now. Really haven't had many to list this past week. If you've watched some of my other videos, you know that our sourcing budget right now is really being tapped out because we're putting money back into, living. There's that pesky thing called living expenses getting in the way. So we really haven't had money to do much sourcing lately. So we're trying to conserve and build up a little bit before we make a couple runs. So we're at 117 listed, sold 8 on this month, which is seemingly a fairly small amount, just giving that many up. So probably need to readjust maybe some pricing or shipping strategies and things like that. I feel like that number's kind of low. We have listed 27 shoes this month, and the goal each month is 100. That's not going to happen this month simply because our capital sourcing budget is not going to support that. We're not going to be able to purchase that many shoes in addition to other things we're buying to list this month. So definitely not going to get to that goal. And we kind of knew that might happen in the summer, just as the summer slowdown hits in general, that we would, struggle to have capital to reinvest. Sold to list is great, 30%. Daily sell-through is really low right now, 0.23% a day. That will keep going up as we get near the end of the month because it's dividing by 30, this total. But we'll just see how that goes. And shoes are averaging about a 33, almost 34-day sell time. Right now, our average sale price is, I guess this is about $37, $38 if you combine these two together, counting the shipping income. And we are netting about $16.81. So that's a little bit low too. We definitely want to push that back up in the $20 range plus. That makes shoes really, really profitable, I think. So it's partly we've sold a couple lower price pair this month, which has pushed that down. Shipping cost is $8.09, which I think is interesting because a lot of people a lot of people are turned away from shoes just because the shipping cost is expensive. And I get that, but you know, we do the calculated shipping based on the weight. We do parcel select, but then we usually will switch it to priority mail because it actually ends up being cheaper as a top-rated seller, getting the discounts and so on. And the customer gets the shoes even faster. So it's kind of like you're under-promising and over-delivering and saving a few. I mean, it doesn't save you a tremendous amount of money. Like, for instance, if a pair of shoes cost $8 to ship parcel select, priority mail with the discount, they'll probably end up costing like $7.85, you know, $7.80. It's not going to be a huge savings, but it's a little bit. But the customer gets it a lot quicker. We use the priority mail, shoe boxes when we can, and padded flat rates as well, which are really cheap. So just a couple tips there. We profit about $134 on shoes this month with a 51% margin. That's kind of a low margin too, which is reflected just because our average sale price is lower, would be my guess. So a tough month for shoes so far, for sure. No doubt about that. I'm going to move this over for a second. I'll just show you this graphically for a second. You guys know I love graphs. And this just shows the average sell time has really jumped up here in June to like 33 days, whereas in May it was a lot lower. So, you know, that's and also the average sale price has dropped. So when you combine like longer time to sell, price that you're selling them for goes down, your results are not going to be as good, and ours haven't been. I'm not sure if this is reflected in everybody's results because I really don't follow enough shoe resellers to know, but it's definitely what we've seen. So I'm going to come back for a moment. Yeah, so you can see, like, just from results that we definitely are struggling to sell shoes, and right now I've been struggling to list them just because, you know, our sourcing budget is definitely been strained over the past, I'd say 2, 3, 4 weeks, really. It's interesting because when I look at my jeans numbers, I'm I'm down versus the last 31 days, but I'm up versus last year, and I'm not down as much as the market is down in jeans. So there's a silver lining if you want. Shoes, I don't know, because I wasn't really selling shoes last year, so I'm not really sure what my numbers look like, and you know, I can't compare them to this time last year because I don't have anything to compare them to. But you know, guys, it just reminds me that this game, this reselling game, it's not a steady climb. It's a lot of like ups and downs and roller coaster of a ride. And you know, what you're not selling in June, you won't be able to keep in stock in October. I mean, it's crazy how this game goes. And you just gotta stay the course with some of this stuff and trust that, you know, if you're doing the right things and you're not getting the right results, sometimes it's a matter of timing. It's possible that maybe you're not doing all the right things. That can happen too. But it's just weird sometimes how it goes. Like, sales are really funny things. And I saw that when I was in retail management. You would have days where you would just blow up the sales, and your district manager would call you and say, hey, you guys did great yesterday. What did you do? And I'm thinking, nothing that we didn't do the past 30 days. And then the same thing, like if your sales were really poor, you know, hey, what happened? Nothing. It was the same, you know, and there's just all this variation that happens, and you don't really have control over it. What you have control over, and what's so hard to remember, and I struggle with it, guys, I'm sure some of you do too, you can't get that caught up in any one day or even any one week necessarily. I mean, it will drive you crazy if you start, you know, looking at your numbers and thinking, oh my gosh, nothing's happening today. Nothing's happening today. What did I do? What am I doing wrong? You'll constantly be changing everything up, and that's no good either. You've got to have some faith in your strategy and give it a little time to work and realize that there's short-term fluctuation. But it can be hard. It can be hard when you're not seeing those sales coming in, and we're with you. If you're in the same boat, our sales, in a word, stink right now. You know, I'll just use that word because they do, you know, and they stink in relation to just what they've been, you know, this year. And it's ironic because we have as many listings up. We've had more listings up than we've had, so it's not a listing problem. Is our pricing right? I think it is. It seems to be in line with what others are selling, but we're already really going, we're always looking at pricing and marketing and so on. You know, that's always part of your strategy. Is your pricing good in relation to the rest of the market? But don't freak out. That's what I'm going to say. You know, and I wake up every day, and if the sales aren't good, I wake up and Karen will be the first to tell you, I'm like, what in the, you know, I mean, we just look at it and she'll have to be like, talk me down off the ledge sometimes. So I'm not immune to it. I don't want you to think like Prof is always super positive and he never gets, not true. I get down to sometimes and I'm like, man, I cannot figure this out. And sometimes there's just nothing to figure out. It's just the way it goes in this game. And you just gotta take it with a grain of salt. All right, so I'm gonna show you some solds that we have had recently. I'm gonna show you 3. So we're gonna go back and do, excuse me, another screen share. Then we'll do some show and tell with some shoes we still have the list. I think these are mainly yours, Karen, right?
Oh, yes.
Karen was like, hey, why do you have my shoes on your table? And I'm like, I'm gonna show people some of the shoes that we're gonna be selling. So she's picked up some she wants to sell as well. And we'll also take questions. If you have questions, ask those. We'll be glad to answer whatever we can. But I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna show you guys some that have sold recently in the past probably week or two. These are actually all pretty recent, so I'm gonna go to these first. Excuse me. So we'll do a screen share. And this first pair is a pair of Nurture black block heel sandals. You see we had the cool little, Karen got these off of, where did you get these, Karen? Amazon? These little heel things that go in the shoes, those plastic.
Yes.
Yes. So these are kind of cool when you have strappy heels and things like this, guys, because they allow the heel to stand up. I think we got these off of Amazon. I don't think they were very expensive. They kind of set the shoe up a bit higher, so you can see, so it doesn't look so super flat laying down. People can kind of imagine their foot. There's a nice side shot. Let me pull that one up and zoom in. You can see how these look. I think they look pretty cool, right? You guys can let us know in the chat. But they really push the shoe up so people can see what it would look like, so that, you know, they could, you know, imagine their foot in them. But these sold for $24.95, nothing huge, plus some shipping. And, you know, we probably paid like $2 or $3 for these because I think these might have been bin shoes if I remember right, or not, maybe not bins, but they were pretty cheap. So, you know, nice sale, $25, you know, not super high profit, but definitely a few dollars. Next up is a pair of Riker. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. And I noticed my angle on this shot's a little funky and I'm not a big fan of it, actually looking at it. But these were boots that we found. They're nothing fancy, but they're just kind of cool looking, you know, little leather insulated insulated boots. They're anti-stress, they're supposed to be. That's like a feature of them. They were actually in pretty good shape. You can see inside, you know, some of this sheds inside, but that's kind of normal. So I just take a photograph of it and show. You can see the wear is, you know, moderate wear. I'd say even minimal wear actually around that edge. It's not bad at all. You know, a little here and there, but nothing crazy. They sold for $29.95. Great thing about these guys, they fit in a padded flat rate. Now, I know some of you out there probably have had mixed emotions about shipping shoes in a padded flat rate. You know, I'm just going to tell you guys, their shoes, they go on the ground. You know, they get dirty. They get in the rain, the weather. I mean, you know, it can happen that something weird would happen to them, but like with these, there wasn't much that could really happen to these. Like they're real pliable anyway, and so putting them in, even if you had laid something on this envelope, I really don't think it would have done much to these shoes. So I don't worry as much about that with some shoes. Now, if they're high end, for sure, you don't want to ship them in a padded flat rate just in case they did get crushed. But I'm not going to worry about with every single pair. And I put that these were shipping that way. You know, that was in the listing. So it would have been no surprise to the buyer that they came that way. Last up is a pair of Merrell, one of my favorite brands, Radius hikers. And these were just, you know, nice little hikers. There's a bunch of different colors of this particular type of Merrell hiker. If you look on eBay, you will see. These were in pretty good shape. I wouldn't say they were great shape, but they were in good shape. And they're hikers, so you expect there's going to be some wear on them. They were size 8. And you can see the bottom is in pretty good shape. The tread's pretty well. You know, just a little bit of dirt, but nothing out of the ordinary. You know, and I always do these shots at the end where we flip them around. And, you know, I'm still getting my shoe photograph game dialed in. I'm definitely not an expert at it. I still feel like every time I take a set that, you know, I could have done them better. These sold for $26.95. I believe I had to ship these in a box, though. I don't think they actually would fit in a padded flat rate. They're too big. But, you know, a nice sale. Again, nothing super, super profitable here, guys. You know, the profit on these would probably be around $15 or $16 profit after expenses and cost of goods. So, you know, decent, but, you know, certainly not like monstrous home run or anything like that. But just sort of bread and butter shoes. And I'm just learning as we go. I'm definitely, you can see these have some wear in the toe box, but, you know, they're hikers. They're supposed to have wear. And I think people are okay with that because they, you know, the one great thing about shoes is when they're pre-owned, they come kind of broken in and people don't have to worry about blisters and things like that a lot of times because they're already worn in, which is nice, especially with a pair of shoes like this. Okay, so let me come back. That was kind of some soles that we've had recently. I've lost my chat window. I don't know where it went. Oh, there it is. Let's see. Some questions came in. Looks like Karin answered at least one or two of them. This question about spiked heels and a padded flat rate. Yeah, I mean, for sure that could be an issue. I tend not to probably wouldn't put a high stiletto heel in a flat rate, I don't think, unless I maybe bubble wrapped it too. Just because it could kind of get, you know, junked around there. But I don't know. I think if maybe you wrapped them in something and then put them in there, you guys in the chat or comments later, you can comment on that. Would you put a spiked heel, especially if it was like a narrow stiletto, which obviously if you put much stress or pressure on, it's going to break. Something to consider. You know, just remember this, guys. If you're shipping shoes in a padded flat rate, and believe me, most shoes are not going to ship in a padded flat rate. You're doing so for two reasons, in my opinion. One, it allows you to get the item to your customer very quickly. I mean, priority mail is fast. 1 to 3 business days goes pretty much anywhere in the United States. But the second reason is you're doing it in a way that's cheap for your customer. I mean, when you've got to ship 2 pounds across the country and just like priority mail, but not in a flat rate envelope, it's expensive. I mean, it's going to cost you like $12. So in effect, it's going to cost the buyer $12. That's the reason I think you look for these cheaper options. And yeah, there is a risk about, you know, you could break it. It could get damaged. That's always a risk. It can get damaged in a box, guys. There's no guarantee of anything. It's not like a box can't get crushed, because they do. So, you know, just take all those things into account when you're thinking about the shipping. I just don't think that you really have to, you know, always discount the flat rate envelope. I know Tino, for instance, my buddy Tino, he ships some things in that from time to time as well. You just gotta be able to, you know, justify it. And certain shoes will be fine, you know. I just think it's that simple. All right, so we're gonna do a quick little show and tell. So I've got 3 or 4, I think I have 4 pair of shoes here. And these are technically Karin's. I guess they're not even technically Karin's. They are Karin's. There's no technical. And we're going to show you a couple that we will be listing here shortly. Are you going to be listing these on your account?
Yes.
All right, guys. You heard her. Hold her to it. So these will be listed on her account very, very shortly. And so first up, we have a pair of, these are Rockport boots. They have a Gore-Tex bottom, I think, yeah, or Gore-Tex lining. These are, I believe these are men's, and these are a size 14, so big shoe. Great shape. You can see the bottom's in great shape. The top, you can see, is also in great shape. I think the toe box has got a little bit of wear, but nothing crazy. What do you think these will even sell for, Karin? What would you guys sell these for?
Lots and lots of money.
Karin says lots and lots of money, which is a scientific definition that means
Absolutely.
no, we don't know. But the Rockport, you know, Rockport's a nice brand name. These are really nice. I mean, they're a nice suede leather, I guess. And it'll be interesting to see what these will go for. But I mean, these are not like new if I was grading their condition, but I would grade them very good. I mean, they really are in good shape. There's a little bit of wear you can see on the tread, but not much. Hank says $5 billion. That seems a little aggressive, Hank. Michelle says 45 bucks. I like the way Michelle's thinking. $45. Lauren says 35 to 50. All right, so we've got some great totals there. All right, so what else have we got here? And you guys know too that I like any kind of shoe that's like a specialty shoe. I think you've got, you know, good potential to sell it for a decent amount. So we found these, which I think are bowling shoes, are they not, Carmen?
Yes.
Yeah, I think these are bowling shoes. You know, you can see the backs of them. 5, 6, or 38, I guess. So it's got the Euro sizing. And the brand on these is INDS, World Impex. Or is it Blinds? Is that a letter? Lens, LINDS?
Yeah, the bowling shoes are so.
So these are just little bowling shoes we found, but again, in great shape. Padded flat rate all the way, baby. You know, these will absolutely fit in a padded flat rate. Soft leather, patient says, these are, yeah. Yeah, they're definitely leather. Is it a soft leather? I don't know. I don't know how to judge it.
No, and we're not allowed to put Velcro. It's a Velcro.
Oh, yeah. So these are a Velcro attachment, guys, but do not put that in your listing title if you're selling something with Velcro. It is a Vero word, and it will get pulled down, and eBay will give you a scolding. But eBay has in the item specifics hook and latch as a way to, you know, to put the shoe on and keep it secure, along with laces and things like that and buckles. So you can put that, and that covers you because that's not Vero. But make sure you don't put the word Velcro in the title. I don't know how much these will go for. Did you have an idea, Karin?
They're on the lower end.
They're on the lower end. Okay, so maybe 20 bucks, 25 bucks, somewhere in there.
But they were in really good shape.
Yeah, they are in great shape. I mean, very, very, very little wear and no just, you know, any kind of distinguishing marks. All right, I'm going to save those big ones for the end. And next up we have, you know, guys, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but like especially when I go off into another niche and I'm listing something, I love it when it's a well-known brand, even if that brand is not as known in that particular type of clothing as it is in another type. And this is a great example. So these are the costs. And that brand is well known. I think this is funny with me with my face in between the boots. I don't know why. But these are Lacoste boots. This brand, I don't know what that big spot is on the bottom. Did you notice that? It's like black. But these are a well-known brand in clothing. I don't know if they're as well-known in shoes. Someone on the chat maybe can say. But when you put that title in the listing, people searching for that brand name might find these and be like, oh, cool, I didn't even know they made boots. And, you know, you could get a sale out of that. So, yeah, these are great shape. Just little, I guess you would call these like rain boots. They're not really snow, are they? Feel like.
No, they're like rain boots, galoshes.
Yeah, galoshes, rain boots, something like that. So I don't know what we'll list those for. Maybe like 45. Is that your thought?
It's kind of an unknown because they're older.
Yeah, Karin says she thinks they're sort of older, sort of vintagey. I don't know. Let's see if it has any sort of date in here. No, it doesn't. 6.5. So I'm assuming these are women's. I guess.
It's brand envy, honestly. That's why.
Karin had brand envy and got these, but I still think it's a good pickup. So, we shall see what we sell those for. Ark says, how about Skechers Shape Ups as a specialty shoe? Yeah, I've had some luck selling those. People like those Shape Ups. Like, they still have a good brand recognition. And even though they quote unquote don't work and do what they say they do, there's no like real scientific proof. Doesn't matter. People like them, you know, and they think it works. That's almost as good as it working in a lot of ways. Zena loves her Croc boots for taking out the dogs early in the morning. There you go, Karn. You can use those to take out the dogs.
That we don't have.
If we had dogs, but we don't. All right, so that brings us to, I think I have one more pair here. Let's see if I can get these over here. And this brand is actually, I had to look it up because I couldn't remember who they were. This brand is, let's see if anybody knows this brand in the chat, because it didn't ring a bell with me. And the brand is Carlos? Is that what these were?
No, I don't think so.
No.
It's a well-known department store.
All right, Karn says no. Let me put on my flashlight. It's just really dark down in the bottom of these boots because they're really tall. Yeah, it's Carlos.
Okay.
Yeah. Carlos by something Quintana? Carlos Santana. Oh, jeez. They're Carlos. I told you they were Carlos. Anyway, so apparently Carlos Santana, when he's not playing music and playing guitar, puts out a shoe line. Who knew? But anyway, pretty cool looking set of boots here, guys. You can see these are pretty tall. I have to sit all the way back here for you to be able to even see these. Pretty cool looking, you know, knee-high boots. And I really couldn't read the Carlos Santana part, guys. It was just, it's in the tiniest writing you can imagine. It's like 2-point type way down in there. But these are a size 6.5, so that's a good size. I think that's a pretty common women's size. But just kind of cool looking. You know, I think boots are great because lots of women especially love boots. You know, they're a fashion statement. And even though I don't know if like this is probably not really a high-end brand, a lot of times, you know, when entertainers make their own brands, they're not necessarily that high-end. But you get great brand recognition and brand name, you know, so, and people like boots. Boots are great sellers. They tend to sell for more money than just regular shoes. So then anytime you have those, I think you can, you know, you can get a good price for these. What are you going to put on these, Karin?
They originally came from Macy's or Nordstrom. I can't remember, but they're like new, so they're going to be a higher.
Originally like Macy's or Nordstrom.
Yeah, they were, I think they were like 100 or more. I don't remember.
Yep. Somebody, Chicago Crown Hustler said quite a range on those. I guess he's talking about these, $14 to $60. Yeah, so that's kind of all over the place. I would definitely price them higher, I think, just because they're kind of unique and pretty cool looking. They're in great shape. I mean, just a little bit of touch up for the conditioning on the suede, and you're good. They're actually a nice, like the bottom of them is really cool. I know you guys can't feel what the bottom feels like, but it feels really cool when you. It's got this cool feel to it, and they look great. Great lines on the back of the stiletto heel. So yeah, boots. Boots are great, but I got to tell you, most of the boots we find when we're out thrifting or just outsourcing in general, not in such great shape. They tend to be. I mean, it seems like people wear boots until they're worn out, and then you know by that time, I don't know, not such a great deal, but. We're looking forward to listing those. So Karin's got her homework to get those done. So if you guys have any other further questions or anything, you know, not a big change this week from last week, but we're definitely getting there. We're actually going to list shoes. I think that's what we're going to do over the next couple hours after the show ends, and just sort of see what else we can get up. We listed some other things this morning. Some things have been sitting around for a little bit. And we'll just get some of these shoes up and going, see how it goes. So be sure you guys hit the like button. I think we're about done. We're about a half hour in. I want to remind you guys tonight we have my accountant, Jared, will be here right at this table with me at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And Jared is going to be here answering your questions about accounting for your business, about bookkeeping, taxes, business structure, all those things. So he's going to be here sitting here with me, so we won't have any technical issues. And we will, I mean, he's just all in with like helping you guys out and so on. So be sure if you have accounting questions, guys, if you have tax questions, bring them tonight. I mean, I know it's not tax season right now. You're probably not even thinking that way, but they're going to come up pretty soon. And if you're in business for yourself, you might be doing taxes quarterly anyway. So whatever questions you got, it's really a Q&A, guys. I'm only going to jump in if, questions are slow at a particular moment, but honestly, it's about you and your questions, and you're going to come up with way more questions and situations than I will, and he will answer you the best he can. So I'm excited about that. So he will be here, and we have him for an hour. Well, hopefully he'll stay even a little longer. Who knows? He's in our house. He can't leave. But it should be a great show. You'll definitely get something out of it. If you get one tip out of that, I mean, that's worth the hour you invested in watching it, honestly. Because I know accounting and bookkeeping and taxes and things like that causes more fear and uncertainty than just about anything in the reselling community. And there's no reason to be with a lot of it. The answers are out there. It's not as horrible as you think, but you've got to get the answers from a good, reputable source, someone who is trained, someone who is licensed, someone who is practicing. And Jared is all those things. So I'm excited about that. He'll be here at 8 o'clock, so 5.5 hours from now. So set your clock for that one. Set your reminder. We've been trying to get with him for this show for a while. Obviously, his tax season and so on was busy, and now he's into it, other parts of the season too, which are busy. But he's pretty pumped about it. Super guy. And like I said, he's my accountant. So, I obviously 100% endorse him. But so we'll be here at 8. That'll be great. Check that out. And it should be a great show. All right, so I think that's going to do it for this show. And if you guys want to leave a comment down below, hit the like button on your way out. Let us know you like the content. Send me questions. Check out the link in the description of this video. These shoe racks are in the link. There's a link for those. They're called Song Mix shoe racks. And I know some of you guys have been clicking through and buying them because I see the reports. And you won't be disappointed, I think. They're really nice little shoe racks. But there's a lot of other links there in the description too. Check those out, associate links, and that helps me out, helps this channel out. And it doesn't cost you anything because you were going to get that item anyway. So I do appreciate that. All right, I think that's going to do it for now. And we are going to be back at 8 o'clock tonight. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your afternoon and go out there and sell some shoes. All right, guys. This is Prof Sales saying good sales to you.